Fort Thomas hasn't met much resistance either, as they beat up on Babakvari 77-39, and then had a little bit more of a tight one against Mogollon, 50-37 to get to this championship game and a rematch, looking for a little bit of payback for the loss suffered 1 month ago. As we'll take a look at the Ace Hardware keys to the game. Ace Hardware has a 24/7 locksmith. The next time you're locked out of your car, just need a key replaced any hour of the day or night, any night of the week, call Ace Hardware in Pine Top, Overguard, and Sholo. Fort Thomas putting up big numbers, but the big factor, I think, is going to come down to completing those defensive possessions. As you take a look at Amber Neal, Audrey Neal, April Neal, all averaging somewhere in the neighborhood or 4 or 5 rebounds. Can Fort Thomas force misses and make sure that they're going to complete those possessions by getting to the glass? As that will prove to be the biggest key to the game. Ace Hardware has a 24/7 locksmith. The next time you're locked out of your car, just need a key replaced any hour of the day or night, any night of the week. Call Ace Hardware in Pine Top, Overguard, and Sholo. We'll continue our pregame conversation after this here as we're getting ready for the 1A championship between Joseph City Wildcats and the Fort Thomas Apaches. This is Sholo Fort's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 and iTalk1067.com.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com.
You've been there waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable, always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN. Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you. Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
Getting ready for a number 1 Joseph City Wildcat versus number 2 Fort Thomas Apaches. Only one upset, as it was very chalky getting to this point. Muckione felled by the Apaches was the number 3 team. 50-37 was that final. St. David number 4 and Joseph City dispatched with each 64-36 as the Wildcats are already on the floor wearing white. Got navy numbers and letters, and now the Apaches joined them wearing blue. Got some gold and white going down either side as the horn is sounding. This thing's ready to get underway with the Northland Pioneer College tip-off. When it's time to tip off your college education, do it at your hometown college with the lowest tuition in the state. Now offering bachelor's degree programs in education and business. Is ready to jump it up and into the backcourt, controlled by the Wildcats, and already on the attack with April Neal going into the painted area. Drop it off to the left block, but put it up too strong. No good from Amber Neal. Apaches with the rebound already into the front court's right side, but the pass underneath the basket is deflected and out of bounds. Audrey Neal there serving as a disruptor, as these Wildcats have an awful lot of the same last names, so we're going to be going informally here shortly. On the baseline's right side, Benali ready to inbound, take an initial look to the short corner and have to go between the rings, where Hawkins goes back and takes it at the center circle. Weaving it around and nearly losing the handle, but Benali's able to control. Now bounce it to the corner near side. Hawkins again on the dribble, back out. Deflected onto the interior and it's stolen away. Here come the Wildcats with Jesper already at the foul line, to the right block, to the rim to score it with Amber Neal. First turnover is turned into points as Hawkins zigs to the far sideline. Kick it back out top of the key. Now into the painted area where it's an extra pass outside. Three-pointer is up from Lorenzo. She's got it down. A Comfort Fit Dentures 3, and in front for the first time here. Fort Thomas with the answer after giving up points on the turnover. Now leads 3-2, 1 minute in. First quarter of the championship game, 1A. Joseph City now up and down between the circles and backing away. Gabrielle Jesmer starts moving to the near sideline, now picks up the dribble and is bumped and fouled by Hawkins. Really bailed out there as he was getting close to a 5-second count. Didn't seem as if Hawkins needed to crowd her quite that much, but picks up her first personal here in the very early going. 6:48 to go. And here on the sideline, on the opposite end of the scorer's table, ball is inbounded between Jesper and Neal's going to lift up a three-pointer that's not good. Momentarily rebounded by April Neal, but taken away by the Apaches right now in the backcourt, controlled with Benali. 3-2, Fort Thomas with the lead as there's an extra pass in front of the Joseph City bench. Wind up another three-pointer. This time it's over the rim out of Johnson's hand, and now trying to get the rebound, fouled on the baseline. April Neal was able to gather that in. Whistle will go against Kennedy Bryce. 6:22 to go here in the first quarter. As inside, Amber Neal is cut off by three different Apaches. Gets a shot up, but it's going to wind up being an air ball. So out of bounds to Fort Thomas. 6:14 now, as this started off with a turnover that was quickly converted into points. Joseph City has had a few looks at the rim, only been able to get one to convert. Fort Thomas hits one of its 2 3-pointers here in the early going. Is now again on the dribble drive and trying to get inside, but her pass was intercepted, and then a foul is quickly called after the steal from Amber Neal. Foul though. Oh, that's a big one. That's on Kennedy Bryce, and that's her second in as many trips down the floor. So really the only size that the Apaches have to offer against Joseph City. Just picked up 2 personals and is on the bench. Her team though leads 3-2, 2 minutes in. State championship game 1A. Joseph City the 1 seed right now with the basketball. Trying to get it in again into the interior with Jesmer. Nearly poked away a couple of times by a couple of different Apaches. Now the ball's dislodged. Free momentarily. Hawkins can't put a fork in it. Instead it's going to be picked up by Joseph City, and on the attack left of the rim, Neal is going to be fouled as she goes up and will shoot 2. That's Jamie Johnson's first, but the 4th team foul on Fort Thomas. Just 2 minutes and 18 seconds into the basketball game as the first free throw is not good out of Audrey Neal's hands. We had emphasized in our Ace Hardware keys to the game. Ace Hardware has a 24/7 locksmith. The next time you're locked out of your car, just need a key replaced any hour of the day or night, any night of the week. Call Ace Hardware in Pinetop, Overgarden, Sholo as Neal's second free throw is good to tie it at 3. Rebounding seemed as if it was going to be a big deal. Probably just became more so as Fort Thomas has now been forced to go small. Able to get out of a trap on the far sideline. Now drop this one up inside the arc where it's deflected momentarily by Neal, but back to the Fort Thomas as there is a very fleshy block out of bounds, and all of the Apache fans right now perhaps rightly furious. It will still be Apache basketball. Fort Thomas inbounding with Benali, and she gets this a quick touch to Hawkins from Johnson. Now reverse it in front of the Joseph City bench. Benali's going to try another three-pointer, but it's off the back iron. Rebounds controlled by Amber Neal. Tie it up at 3. 5 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the initial. Stopping at the top of the key, cut off by Hawkins. Up and down with the dribble is Jesmer. Eventually handed off to Audrey Neal, who's able to get 14 feet out and put it in. Back in front go the Wildcats, now up 5-3. It's their second lead here in the very early going. Hawkins again gets a pass out of a trap, leaves her feet to try to get this inside the arc, and it's again deflected and stolen away. Here comes Audrey Neal. She's got Amber Neal on her right. Instead goes to the left with April Neal. And another foul is called. This one looks to be against Fort Thomas. And it's going to be the second on Jamie Johnson. And as that's the 15th foul, to the free throw line goes Audrey Neal, who just converted 1 of 2. But for the next 4:49, could be an awful lot of foul shots here for the Wildcats, who right now hold a 5-3 lead, but are looking to extend, and the first one is up and good. Right now, much more so than rebounding, it's this half-court trapping defense that Joseph City continues to throw out in waves against Fort Thomas that is proving to be much more disruptive. His second free throw is very short. Rebound is pulled down. Is back to the bench go the Apaches. Michaela Chapman just checked in as Benali's got it left of the lane. High dribble, able to get it back. Then off to the top of the key where a three-pointer is up and down. Comfort Fit Dentures 3 from Adea Lorenzo. That is her second, and it ties it up at 6. 4.5 to go in the first. Again, triggering the offense for Joseph City is Jesper. She's going to try to answer from the left angle, but it's an air ball. Big crowd here supporting the Fort Thomas Apaches. And right now letting Gabrielle Jesmer know, as off the bench for the first time, Samantha Jesmer will come out, as well as Rayleigh Fish. April Neal ready to start a 1-2-1. Oh, yeah, almost taken away and then nearly thrown into the back court, but Benali is able to get that one back as she starts to serpentine up the middle of the floor to the corner where it was tipped and intercepted. Taken away by Audrey Neal, trying to streak up the center of the floor where she gets knocked down, no whistle. Loose ball picked up. Now Joseph City's going to come out and reset with Jesmer. Samantha Jesmer near midcourt as she starts coming to the near sideline. Amber Neal hands it off on the outside to April Neal. Rip it through as she's cut off by 2 defenders. Go to the foul line, and a traveling violation is whistled on Audrey. Audrey Neal, that is. 3:50 to go, as this time it's the Fort Thomas half-court defense that is causing a little bit of trouble, and it stops play with it tied up at 6. 1A Girls Championship action here at Veterans Memorial Coliseum at Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 and iTalk1067.com.
We have President's Day pricing all month long here at Horn Auto Center. And great deals like this Chevy Silverado with up to $10,850 off and 2.4% APR. Or this Chevy Colorado. All 2024 Colorados have up to $5,100 off and 1.9% APR on approved credit. So come on down to Horn Auto Center, the Chevy GMC Cadillac store that saves you more.
Northland Pioneer College is cheering for you on and off the field. Secure a win by enrolling in college courses at NPC. Earn college credits in high school, learn a new skill or trade. Complete classes that will transfer to any Arizona university. NPC has 3 new bachelor's degree programs and over 100 associate degrees, certificates, and areas of study to choose from. The playing field for your future is wide open. Take a shot and score big by enrolling in classes at NPC. Northland Pioneer College. Your journey starts here.
This 1A Girls Championship matchup between Joseph City and Fort Thomas is brought to you by Ace Hardware in Pinetop, Overgarden, Sholo, the Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store, Northland Pioneer College, Horn Auto Center, Summit Regional Medical Center, Comfort Fit Dentures, and Mountain Mobile Auto Glass. As it's tied up at 6 right now, all of the scoring being done by Adia Lorenzo, as she has knocked down 2 Comfort Fit Dentures 3-pointers. They've come at the very beginning of the ball game and a little bit more recently. Joseph City, which every now and then looks like it's about to completely take over with its half-court defense, but is leaving people open as the ball is over the time stripe with Benali, as she has met well outside. 1-3-1 here waiting for him, as this one's again a dangerous pass along the perimeter, and again stolen away, this time by April Neal. She'll use a dribble into a double team at the near sideline, eventually get it out to Neal, who's going to go into the painted area, hand it off outside the left block, put it up there, Amber Neal, it's short. Rebounds cleared momentarily by the Apaches, but the pass on the outside was ticked away, and now up back at the rim, no good, but the second effort from Amber Neal will score it. Back in front go the Wildcats, leading 8-6, again extending the 1-3-1. 4 of the players outside the 3-point line, and a foul is called on the outside. Whistle goes against Samantha Jesmer. That's just the first team foul on Joseph City, as back off the bench comes Gabrielle Jesmer to replace Amber Neal, who's responsible for half of the Wildcats' scoring output. 3:09 to go in the first quarter. Is now going on the attack to the left side. Chapman tries to kick it back out. It's again nearly stolen away. Top of the 1-3-1, Samantha Jesmer causing all sorts of problems. Now they drop into a 2-3 zone. To the foul line, try to kick it back out. Corner 3 is up on the way, but it's an air ball. Rebounds controlled though by Chapman. Another opportunity here for Fort Thomas, and it's thrown out of bounds off of a double team. I think that went off of Audrey Neal. And a timeout now taken by Fort Thomas's bench, trailing 8-6 with 2 minutes and 47 seconds to play in the first quarter. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
After the timeout, inbounding near the corner with Benali. Gets it on the outside. Lorenzo, who's got all 6 of the Apache points, goes back to the left of the lane. Benali's going to try a 3-pointer, but it's a little bit short off the front iron. Rebound pulled down by Jesmer, and here comes Joseph City looking to extend its 8-6 lead. There's been 3 lead changes here in the first quarter and a couple of ties. Jesmer goes on the attack from the top of the key off the square. It's too strong. Rebound's tipped around, still loose, and eventually claimed by the Apaches. Trailing 8-6 with a little bit of an advantage, with Jesmer now coming out of the back court, going up with a hip check. Can't get the finish there with Benali. Rebounds cleared by Joseph City. Wildcats playing a very physical brand of half-court defense as it's bounced short hop, still controlled by Samantha Jesmer. Get it out to Gabrielle, who kicks it out to the corner where a 3 is on the way and up and down. Comfort Fit Dentures 3 from April Neal extends the lead out to 11-6. It's by far the largest advantage either side has had. Pass it to the near side, looping pass controlled by Chapman. And now Benali's going to retreat and reset with 1 minute and 45 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Her team's down 11-6. Nobody besides Adia Lorenzo has been able to get on the scoreboard as it's bounced in front of the Joseph City bench. Head fake and attack there from Cody from the short corner. She's got it up and good. Minute and 30 seconds left. Make it 11-8. Joseph City with the lead in the basketball. Jesmer again starting the attack. She uses a high screen. Try to get this on the roll down the right lane line, but it's deflected and intercepted. This time slamming on the brakes in the backcourt. Chapman after the steal. Benali in front of the Wildcat bench, starts moving to her left where she's double teamed, try to go back to the corner, but nobody was home and it's out of bounds. She thought it was deflected. Now they're going to converse the officials to determine whether or not it was indeed tipped, and it was not. So another turnover forced by the trapping Wildcat D. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. They just went with some high screen and roll action with Jesmer starting it, and again going to use another screen where she's going to this time have it slip, go back out between the circles with Amber Neal. Jesmer this time sets the screen, sends her to the right side. Neal stopped 10 out, put it off the back iron to score. She has 6. Her team leads 13-8, 50 seconds to play here in the first quarter. 2-3 zone again being extended out to the well past the three-point line as it's on the far side where Cody just got the last bucket for the Apaches. Instead, side to side here on the left, and now forcing a pass toward the foul line, but it's again deflected and intercepted. Another turnover forced here by the Wildcats as they lead 13-8 and looking for their largest advantage here. 24 seconds to play. Jesper's going to go on the attack all the way to the rim, but I think she traveled. No, she was pushed. As that foul is going to go against Corey Cody. And Gabrielle Jesmer, I'm going to get this, 8.4 points on the season and led the team with 3.2 assists. She's been triggering the offense here throughout. Her first trip to the charity stripe, and she has it up short. Now 2 for 5 from the free throw line here in the first quarter of the Joseph City Wildcats. April Neal just steps away, replaced by Jadiana Kinlicini, as the second free throw is also not good. Fort Thomas now with the basketball and an opportunity to hold, but already on the attack as it's deflected on the outside. Can't complete the steal there, Amber Neal. 14 seconds to go here in the initial. 13-8, the Apaches lead. As they're going to come out and line up between the circles, side out with Benali. Joseph City already packing the zone. Now extending it out again to the three-point line as the pass along the sideline is taken away by Neal. Go to the left of the lane. Samantha Jesmer goes back to the right side. Neal's got the finish. She has 8. Her team leads 15-8. 2 seconds left here. Can they get a shot up? It'll count if it falls, but it's short. And Fort Thomas, struggling with the turnover bug, goes into the second quarter trailing 15-8. This is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
To start the second quarter. When it's time to start your college education, you should do so ready to tip off the second quarter. When it's time to tip off your college education, do it at your hometown college with the lowest tuition in the state, now offering bachelor's degree programs in education and business. Amber Neal, the story offensively, as she has 8. Audrey Neal has 4. April Neal has 3 to get to 15 points as Joseph City leads Fort Thomas 15-8. Adea Lorenzo knocked down 2 3-pointers. But otherwise, the Apaches having a hard time hanging on to the basketball. So they're going to start the second quarter with Kira Moses checking in. Got 2 personals whistled against Kennedy Bryce, 2 personals on Jamie Johnson. Also removed Rayleigh Hawkins in the relatively early going. She has not returned. Does not have any fouls. Or she has 1. As Fort Thomas will start the second quarter with the basketball again, the zone being extended well outside the arc, but penetrating into it, and now a traveling violation will give it away. I did not start logging how many turnovers were being forced by either side, but right now the Apaches very generous, as I think their fans thought that there potentially could have been a foul called. Instead, Joseph City forces the miscue, and now nearly taken right back, but controlled by Audrey Neal as she comes to the near side. Amber Neal winds up getting it right back after she had a little give and go action. Has her own miss off the glass. That's not good. Now the Apaches come away with it, but the pass in transition was thrown too far ahead. Stolen away by Jesmer. On the attack, Kinley Cheney tries to kick it back outside, but Amber Neal was not ready for it, and it's out of bounds. Fort Thomas now taking it right back after an early turnover. Played 34 seconds of the second quarter. It's still 15-8. Joseph City with the lead. Now nearly taken away in the backcourt once. Saving that possession. Jamie Johnson's able to get this one up front. Lorenzo thought about a 3. Instead, it's going to be off to the interior where it can be deflected. Stolen away as Audrey Neal's going to go end-to-end up and score it from the left side. She now has 6. 1 minute into the second. Joseph City extending its largest lead, 17-8. First to score here in the second quarter is a passing out of a trap, getting it out to Lorenzo. Back up top, thought about a 3 from Chapman. Instead, they're going to send it to the corner. Now had it the angle by Johnson. Chapman tries to force it inside the zone with a bounce pass, but it's stolen away, but poked right back, reclaimed by Cody. Coming out of the backcourt after the steal, Lorenzo met at the top of the 2-3 zone, throws it over the top to Cody, who's going to try a 3-ball right of the lane, but it's going to hit the bottom of the backboard. Rebounds pulled down by Amber Neal. 2-on-1 opportunity as she had Kinley Cheney, who was off to the left, and said she's going to call her own number and score that one to force another. Nope, this is going to be Joseph City taking a timeout, leading 19-8. 3 turnovers here in the second quarter, and have turned 2 of them into points with 6:22 to go in the half. It's Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
6:22. Second quarter, both sides have 4 timeouts remaining as now the Wildcats extending a 2-1-2 zone press into the backcourt as it's deflected in the backcourt, stolen away. Audrey Neal, feed it to Amber Neal, and now the Wildcats really pouring it on, 21-8. As it's again nearly taken away in the backcourt and then eventually done so by Amber Neal, but taken right back by the Apaches, but given right back. Saved in the backcourt off with Samantha Jesmer, nearly thrown away, but underneath it, Audrey Neal is able to gather, go on the attack, and an offensive foul is called as well set up on the inside was Kira Moses. First foul on Audrey Neal. First team foul on either side. Turnovers aplenty as both sides have been either struggling with this 2-1-2 zone press going into the backcourt as it's deflected in the backcourt, but this time controlled by Benali. She short hops Cody, but she's able to get it back, and now spinning around, find Benali near the time stripe. Back to the left angle, and now reverse it to the right side. Jamie Johnson tries to go on the attack, but she's bumped and fouled. That will be on Gabrielle Jesmer, her first. No Wildcat has more than 1 personal. Is now lining up along the foul line. Ball is inbounded to Cody. She's quickly double teamed in the corner. Quick touch pass into the interior in the mid post, but back outside now, an extra pass to Benali, who's got a 3-pointer that's up and down. A Comfort Fit Dentures 3. Kaylee Benali has her first bucket. first points here in the second quarter for Fort Thomas. Gets the lead down to 10 with 5:18 to go here in the half. Jesmer along the left lane line has her shot rejected by Johnson. Ball is picked up on the loose, had by Binali, as now it's up front on the attack, Johnson, and a blocking foul will be whistled against one of the Wildcats. Momentum has started to shift a little bit here as that foul is whistled on Rayleigh Fish. Joseph City going a little bit deeper down the bench here, is now back out for the Apaches. Lorenzo replaces Corey Cody. 5:05 to go, trailing 21-11, try to force a pass to the interior on the inbound. It was deflected, and now a traveling violation will be whistled on Johnson as she tried to dive underneath it. Ball was deflected on the inbound. Johnson just trying to recover the possession. Her team now down 10 and on the defensive end, also starting to extend a little bit of a zone. Push this one into the corner on the near side. Now back up top. We're on the attack. Fish kick it back out. Wide open three is on the way, but off the back rim from April Neal. Jamie Johnson's got it for the Apaches, so they get a stop. Can they continue to get some points? As they're all the way to the foul line, a little bit late on the delivery, trying to get it to Hawkins, and it's kicked and stolen away. Taken away by Kinlicini. 4:29 to go. And Joseph City's already in the front court's right side with a 10-point lead. Up and down, Neal pounding the rock. As they come to the near side, into the corner, right back to Neal. She's going to catch and deliver from 5 out. She now has 14, and her team's up 23-11. Hawkins already inside the arc as she takes a bump from Jesmer, and a blocking foul will be called. That'll be her second. Gabrielle Jesmer picks up foul number 2. She is the only Wildcat that is so afflicted. Speaking of foul trouble, Kennedy Bryce, who picked up 2 in the first 2 minutes, is back out there. Jamie Johnson has been successfully navigating foul trouble, hasn't picked up one since she picked up her second in the very early going as well. Trying to go to Bryce. Oh, this could go either way. I think they're going a double foul, but that is going to be Bryce's third. Let's see where we're going here. So they definitely called one on Bryce, but it looks like it's Fort Thomas's basketball. Kinlicini might have been whistled for one as well. As there, the inbound is going to be elevated from Johnson, could get it to fall. Rebounds pulled down by April Neal, and now gets it right back along the near sideline. Under 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Try to get this one to a cutting Audrey Neal. Instead, it's back out. Jesmer goes back to a cutting Neal. Kick it back outside. Audrey Neal set it up for Jesmer. Turns to the left over the right shoulder. Can't get the finish. Rebounds cleared there by Cody. 23-11 with 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go as a big three-pointer from Benali. She's about 22 feet out. Couldn't get it to drop. As her team will be up back on the defensive end, trailing 23-11. Stops play with 3:33 to go. It's Joseph City leading 23-11 on Cholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball. iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN. Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
(23-11), Joseph City with the lead. Right now it's been the Amber Neal story in the 1A Girls Championship game. She's got 14 points. Bigger factor here of late has been Fort Thomas's ability to start hanging on to the basketball, as the Apaches were turning it over an awful lot in the first quarter, the start of the second, but now that they've been hanging on to it, been able to get a couple of looks at the basket. The other part of that, Kennedy Bryce picked up foul number 3 as the ball is inbounded to Amber Neal and then rolls up front to Audrey Neal, but she loses it to try to go through the paint. It's going to stay, though, with the Wildcats. It was deflected out of bounds by the Apaches. So Jesmer, who just picked up her second personal, inbounds it into the corner of the near side, Samantha Jesmer. As Neal goes on the attack, going to try a short corner jumper that's up and good. She now has 16. And now it's stolen away between the circles, taken this time by Audrey Neal. She's going to go into all sorts of acreage and score that off the glass. Her second bucket here in the second quarter, 3 minutes to go. And all of that goodwill that was purchased by hanging on to the basketball for a couple of minutes, the Apaches have allowed to go away as Jamie Johnson goes through a few defenders. Can't get that one off the glass. Rebounds pulled down by Jesmer. 27-11, this rematch that was won at the end of January by Joseph City by about 23. And right now, she with the basketball, Amber Neal. Ooh, high dribble, might have got away with one as she goes to the corner in Jesmer. Back up top, catch and shoot three-pointer from April Neal. Side iron's no good. Amber Neal tips it out of bounds. Jesmer can't get there. Gotcha. 2:29, second quarter. Fort Thomas trailing 27-11 as Hawkins is going to check back in and give Lorenzo a break. Again, got this zone defense that has been so pesky waiting for her. As she comes to the top, gets in front of the first two defenders, kick it back out. On the attack, Chapman loses the basketball momentarily, is able to get it right back after it caroms off of a few players and tries to throw it out of bounds off of one of the Wildcats, is able to successfully do so. Keep it with Fort Thomas, 2:12 to go. And right now the Apaches got to be thinking, just try to get this around 10 going into the locker room. And maybe with that in mind, Joseph City will take a timeout, leading 27-11, 2:12 to play in the half. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
We have President's Day pricing all month long here at Horn Auto Center. And great deals like this Chevy Silverado with up to $10,850 off and 2.4% APR. Or this Chevy Colorado. All 2024 Colorados have up to $5,100 off and 1.9% APR on approved credit. So come on down to Horn Auto Center, the Chevy GMC Cadillac store that saves you more.
Thank you. 27-11 here in the second quarter. Fort Thomas inbounding as it's had by Hawkins. Starts moving toward that top of the zone where she bounces it back toward the Joseph City bench. A three-pointer for Benali's up and up the front rim. Rebounds loose, trying to fight for it. Cody can't come away. Instead, Joseph City comes with it. Amber Neal's already got 16. She's at the foul line. Forced out to the right of the lane. Benali tries to go over the top, but can't knock it away from him. Instead, gets whistled for a personal. That's just her first. Fort Thomas whistled for an awful lot of fouls in the first couple of minutes. Joseph City not necessarily able to take advantage at that point in time as Lorenzo's back off the bench to replace Hawkins. Minute 55 to go. That was just the second team foul on Fort Thomas, but it's trailing 27-11. Jesmer will inbound outside, had by the other Jesmer. As now Neal tries to throw a pass toward the foul line, but too tall for Audrey Neal. It's tipped and stolen away. Here comes Fort Thomas. Minute 45 to go as Benali's pass inside, had by Johnson, but she's surrounded by Wildcats. Tries to kick it out, but a blind pass is going to sail out of bounds away from Lorenzo. She tried to go a little bit behind the back with that one. It'll be another turnover, of which in the first quarter, Fort Thomas had 9. 9 turnovers in the first quarter led to 10 points for Joseph City, and it's been much the same story here in the second, with the Wildcats leading 27-11. Token pressure beaten between a couple of Neals. Now nearly poked away by Amber. 90 seconds to go in the half as she comes to the near sideline, and Kinlachini reverse it to the left. Now in front of the Fort Thomas bench. Jesper's got a Comfort Fit Dentures 3 up and down. Her first bucket is going to extend the advantage out to 19. Johnson's already on the attack at the right block. She goes high off the glass and she's fouled. Jamie Johnson with her first bucket, as she averaged almost 12, and it's taken her almost an entire half to get going, but now with a chance to answer a three-pointer with a three-point play. Stops the clock with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go as her knuckleball is off the back rim and good.
It's a pretty nice shot for being a...
If she missed it, she was going to get an H, as it's already broken into the front court. Now Kinlachini wants a 3-ball. A Comfort Fit Dentures 3 is up and down. Her first bucket gets the lead back out to 19. Maybe that was a long 2. Something seems jinky with the scoreboard. Is there a shot from the inside? Is no good. Joseph City is able to come away with the rebound. Fort Thomas really picking up the pressure. Is Angry all the way up the middle of the floor. Audrey Neal sends it up left of the hole and just a little bit short. Trying to spin out of traffic. I think that the Wildcat fans thought that there was a traveling violation. Instead, the Apaches have it along the near sideline where Cody gets bumped and fouled. So stop the clock. 36.8 seconds left, and every time the Apaches go to the free throw line here, trailing 19, these foul shots loom huge.
You know, Derek, one thing that the Fort Apache ladies are going to have to do is they're going to have to keep those three-point shots from happening from Joe City, because Joe City is very solid with their three-point shots.
And they've just now started falling.
Yeah.
It's the really discouraging element of that. As the first free throw is good, second one from Cody is on the way. And also gets the lead back to 17. Bumped in the backcourt, dribbling into a trap. Able to avoid that with Audrey Neal as she goes to the left and then back to the right block, but Kinlachini can't hit that one, though the offensive rebound is up and good from Amber Neal. Has 18-10 in the second quarter, gets the lead back out to 19, and now stepping into a three-pointer, Johnson has it up short. 18 seconds left as the offensive rebound is had by Lorenzo. She's fouled going up. Clock stops at 16 seconds, and she goes back to the charity stripe. When Joseph City's leading 19, and right now seems to be in control, but if anything happens to change that, those two bunnies on the other end are probably going to make them a little bit regretful. They had two wide open shots right at the rim. Instead, here is Lorenzo, who had 2 3-pointers in the first quarter, and for a long time was almost all of the Apaches scoring. She hits that first free throw. It's got one more coming. And then the Wildcats can potentially hold for the last shot as that second is up and good. Kira Moses coming back in to replace Michaela Chapman. Fort Thomas has 3 fouls on Kennedy Bryce, and not a lot of size otherwise. Is there a pass along the far sidelines intercepted after it was a long high throw, but now after the steal, a bumping foul is going to be whistled on, I believe, Kinlachini. And I believe that's also her third. Let's say Jesmer. We're sitting away from the scorer's table, so we can't see the hand sign, but I don't think Jesmer was near that. As the free throw up a little bit too strong. I thought it might have been number 4 that committed the foul.
I believe it was number 5 because it was a hand. It was a hand push on the back as she was attempting to knock the ball away.
So that will be her 3rd. As neither free throw falls, rebound is momentarily had by the Wildcats and then knocked out of bounds by the Apaches. 6 seconds. Joseph City can be incredibly conservative, doesn't even need to try to get it over the stripe. And you wouldn't fault him for just being happy to take a 17-point lead, but also fouls to give. Do they say that was intentional? No. Johnson commits her 2nd personal. But that's just the 3rd team foul, so the Apaches can be very aggressive here, trying to get the steal if they want. Doesn't seem as if they do. As the buzzer's going to sound. The half-court shot, don't know if it would have counted had it fallen. Audrey Neal gave it a good effort. Her team much more so, as it's going to go into the locker room, leading 35-18, halfway to the hardware. Joseph City with the advantage after 2 will begin the Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store halftime show after this as it's Show Ford's presentation of the 1A Girls Championship on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
Northland Pioneer College is cheering for you on and off the field. Secure a win by enrolling in college courses at NPC. Earn college credits in high school, learn a new skill or trade. Complete classes that will transfer to any Arizona university. NPC has 3 new bachelor's degree programs and over 100 associate degrees, certificates, and areas of study to choose from. The playing field for your future is wide open. Take a shot and score big by enrolling in classes at NPC. Northland Pioneer College. Your journey starts here.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN. Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
This is iTalk 106.7's presentation of the Honda Outdoor Ski and Sports Store Halftime Show.
The Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store halftime show for the best selection of hiking, camping, hunting, and fishing gear. Go to the Honda Ski and Outdoor Store south of Pine Top on Highway 260. Just before you get to the Honda Casino, is the 1A Girls Championship right now, a 35-18 advantage had by Joseph City. I had said at the start of it, just looking at the way these rosters were built, that it seemed as if rebounding was going to be the biggest thing. Just did not give the Joseph City defense enough credit. As we can tell you assuredly that there are 9 turnovers forced against Fort Thomas in the first quarter, led to 10 points. I would bet it's probably somewhere in the same neighborhood of 9 turnovers and 10 points in the second. Fort Thomas trying to get the ball to the interior of a zone, regardless of what kind of zone the Wildcats are throwing at them, but the passes are just too congested, being deflected, and frequently resulting in turnovers are going the other way awfully quickly. I mean, what else could they try to do?
They're gonna have to try to pick Joe City apart, and number one is they're gonna have to eliminate those outside 3-point shots. Now, they weren't going down in the first quarter, but they're now starting to warm up and they're starting to go down.
Yeah.
So I mean, Fort Apache has got some work to do. They've got some ground they need to start working on. But here again, in high school sports, that score,
yes,
it really doesn't mean a whole lot.
Now we can tell you. We can tell you that it was not 9 turnovers in the second quarter. It was indeed 11.
Wow.
11 turnovers that have now led to 20 turnovers have led to 21 Joseph City points. 21 of their 35 points have been scored off of turnovers, and you then go and highlight Amber Neal, who's in the locker room, 9 of 15 with 18 points, as many of hers have just been starting the deflections and then breaking into the front court and getting passes and finishing with relative ease at the rim. I'd say half of her points have been in transition. Indeed, 14 of Joseph City's points have come via fast break, and almost all of those have to be off of any of those 20 turnovers. So that if Fort Thomas is able to complete the comeback, we've already seen they are ready and willing to shoot the three-pointer. Of their field goals, more than half of them have come from behind the arc, and they've had some pretty clean looks. So if they can just hang on to the basketball, continue with the reversal, get the open looks, those start to drop, I think you're absolutely right. This can turn around awfully quickly, but you also pointed out Joseph City started hitting it from deep as well.
Yes, they have. And the girls are reacting to Dan Bushman perfectly. They're reacting to him, they're listening, and Fort Apache doesn't really have an answer at this point.
No. It's all starting with that half-court defense again. Seen the 1-3-1 zone. We've seen a 1-2-2. We've seen a 2-3. We've seen all sorts of stuff. I think Fort Thomas has responded with a box and one, trying to slow Amber Neal. Both teams going deep into the zone repertoire. But right now it's just Joseph City that's been ruling the day as it leads 35-18 and halfway home to the 1A Girls State Championship. We'll continue the Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store halftime show after this. They got the best selection of hiking, camping, hunting, and fishing gear south of Pine Top on Highway 260, just before you get to the Honda Casino. This is the Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store halftime show, and we'll continue with the Wildcats leading 17 as Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
We have President's Day pricing all month long here at Horn Auto Center. And great deals like this Chevy Silverado with up to $10,850 off and 2.4% APR. Or this Chevy Colorado. All 2024 Colorados have up to $5,100 off and 1.9% APR on approved credit. So come on down to Horn Center, the Chevy GMC Cadillac store that saves you more.
Northland Pioneer College is cheering for you on and off the field. Secure a win by enrolling in college courses at NPC. Earn college credits in high school, learn a new skill or trade. Complete classes that will transfer to any Arizona university. NPC has 3 new bachelor's degree programs and over 100 associate degrees, certificates, and areas of study to choose from. The playing field for your future is wide open. Take a shot and score big by enrolling in classes at NPC. Northland Pioneer College. Your journey starts here.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
Chin Lee game, that is going to be a hot game.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
This has been iTalk 106.7's presentation of the Honda Outdoor Ski and Sports Store Halftime Show.
Continuing the Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports Store halftime show, the best selection of hiking, camping, hunting, and fishing gear. Go to the Honda Ski and Outdoor Store south of Pine Top on Highway 260, just before you get to the Honda Casino. 20 is turnovers, just 5 assists. But to that point that we were making, 5 made field goals for Fort Thomas, 5 assists. The shots are there. They're both there on the inside and outside. If they can hang on to the basketball just a little bit longer and get themselves set up, watch these shots start falling. It's just, can they somehow hang on to the ball, averaging 10 turnovers a quarter, and as previously emphasized, being outscored 21-3 in points off turnovers, only 3 points while turning Joseph City over 8 times, which is an awfully high number for one half of basketball as well. So, a couple things to think about there. And right now, probably even more so than the turnover, how do they slow Amber Neal? Again, 18 points and poised to be your Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint player of the game, as she's been not just a scoring machine, also 5 rebounds, 3 of those offensive, 6 steals, the tip of the spear on the defensive end as her team leads 35-18. We will start the third quarter right after this. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN. Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Getting ready to start the third quarter. When you want to start your college education, you should do it at your hometown college with the lowest tuition in the state, now offering bachelor's degree programs in education and business. That's Northland Pioneer College. As Fort Thomas needing to make a run here at the very early going. They're launching t-shirts into the crowd, and it sounds like legitimate gunfire. Momentarily alarming.
However, the t-shirt gun is only getting it about 5 feet past the court.
Sounds much better than it rips.
It is, yes.
Starting to start the second half. Amber Neal with 18, 10 of them coming in the second quarter. Audrey Neal with 8. And many of those coming off of so many Apache turnovers, as now the Wildcats ready to go from the right to the left as we're facing the scorers table. Get this on the outside where Amber Neal puts it on the deck with the left hand, gets inside the foul line. Her runner is off the back rim, out of bounds, and will stick with the Wildcats. Baseline right side. Jesmer is going to inbound, and up top, where it's had by Neal. Kick it out, Jesmer to the foul line, then out to the left angle. Jesmer to Jesmer, and now Neal. Back to the corner on the far side, where Jesmer is going to kick it back out. Very conservative approach here from Joseph City with a 35-18 lead. Now 30 seconds in. Come to the corner on this near side. Audrey Neal surveys as Jesmer runs by. No overhand pass. Amber Neal was going to retreat to the center circle and reset. 45-second possession here to start the third quarter. As there's a fake pass from Jesmer, allow a couple of players to circle through. Now we'll retreat. Approaching 1 minute in, and the Fort Thomas fans starting to get a little bit antsy. Screen set on the far sideline. Try to drop this one off, looking for a cutting Neal, but it goes right back to Jesmer. She's going to get it up with a teardrop. So that took well over a minute off of the clock, and now it's out of bounds on the first possession. Try to hand it off between Hawkins and Benali, and it's the 21st turnover instead. Well, nope, it's going to stay with the Apaches. They might have just caught a break. Benali will inbound for Fort Thomas. That looked as if it caromed off of her hip, and the referee is now going to have a quick conversation. I'm almost certain this went out of bounds between the two, but they talked about it and they're going to stick with it. Between the two meaning Hawkins and Benali. So after watching a 66-second possession from Joseph City, Wildcats back into that 2-1-2. As it's inside and quickly back out, Johnson goes in front of the Fort Thomas bench. Benali's forced to retreat. Bounce it toward the center circle. Johnson has it kicked away. Audrey Neal with the save. Keep it with Fort Thomas, but now this third quarter is a minute and a half old. And they've had just an awful lot of energy spent on the defensive end, and are still looking for their first shot. Trailing now 19. Benali watches Hawkins run the baseline. Opts instead to hang on to it, bounce it outside. Lorenzo. Johnson now crosses over to get to the three-point line left of the lane. Gets inside toward the elbow, then forced back outside Benali. Give it right back. Lorenzo, wide open three is on the way. She's got it down. A comfort fit Dentures three, and the scoring starts here with the third three ball for Lorenzo.
Chasing 16, and this is where it all begins. They start knocking these down, and that score is going to shrink very quickly.
Joseph City, though, continues to be very, very conservative offensively until on the run there. Jesmer can't get that one, though. She's going back up. She's bumped and fouled. foul is called on Benali. That's her second. And that is going to be in the act of shooting. It was not Jesmer, though. I think that's Audrey Neal.
Number 10, yeah.
Though, in fairness, an awful lot of ponytail is obstructing my view. That is Audrey Neal as she hits the first, now 9 points. And the second one is off the front rim, but rolls off. Rebound fought for, controlled by Benali. 38-21. They're passing out of a trap to Benali. She penetrates inside the top of the key. Johnson momentarily open, instead run off the three-point line, forced to go back out toward midcourt and Lorenzo. Zone extending about 25 feet away from the bucket as Hawkins is able to penetrate through it. And it looks like she is able to get a little bit of contact. And that may be in the act of shooting. It is going to send her to the free throw line. Toward the end of the second quarter, the Apaches were able to stop the clock and start taking lots of foul shots. That might be their best approach. Because I didn't see who that was called on again. That might be Jesmer, as Hawkins' high arcing free throw is up and good. Her first point gets the lead back to 16. Clock stopped at 5:42. One turnover. No, a near turnover, I should say. A near miss as her second foul shot is off the heel. Rebounds tipped, though, and had by Cody right before it was about to get the sideline. She's able to save it. And now Hawkins has it with the top of the zone extending all the way out to midcourt. Bounce back, now splits the top of it, gets to the foul line, might have been on the run. And there's the travel
call. Yep.
Apache fans don't like it. I think that the contact happened after she took that second step.
Yes, and they're looking at the post play. They're not actually looking at the initial.
Cross-court pass taken, spinning away from traffic. Neal's now into the teeth of the defense, goes to the short corner's right side, but it rattles out and is knocked out of bounds on the attempted offensive board. I think that was April Neal, who was open 10 feet out, and it did everything but fall. So 38-22, Joseph City still with the lead. Now almost 3 minutes in, it's again kicked away, and again by Amber Neal. Going to come to the near sideline. Benali, Hawkins looking like they're ready to inbound. As our team's trailing 38-22. Again, all sorts of pressure in the backcourt, trying to trap up there to get over the time stripe, but bounce back to Benali. Joseph City able to recover as it's again knocked away, and are they going to say that this was a kicking violation? I don't think it was intentional in the least, but it was contacted south of the knee, so they'll give it right back to the Apaches.
See, in the way that I understand the rule is if it's an intentional, it is a violation, but if it's incidental, we keep playing.
Cody was going to have that one open on the far sideline right in front of her bench, but I think she started shooting before she started catching. And there's the first turnover in the third quarter as Jesmer goes back into the backcourt with Neal in a long pass from about the midcourt line, this time gathered by April Neal. She's able to gather and finish. 40-22. Largest lead was 19. Fort Thomas with Lorenzo along the near sideline. Cody steps inside the arc, goes back to Lorenzo. Now up top, Johnson was open for a moment. Instead, an extra pass to Benali, who's got a comfort fit dentures three up and good. Get the lead to 15. We need a stop now as Neal goes to Neal and then tries to get it on the give and go, but instead deflected away. Pass it into the front court where Cody's got the overhead pass caught inside the foul line. She goes on the attack to the right side. Back out, Lorenzo's got a three up and down.
And here it comes. Joe City's going to have to find an answer.
That's the third comfort fit dentures three in the third quarter, and it forces the Wildcats to take a timeout with the lead being trimmed to 40-28. 4 minutes and 7 seconds left in the third quarter. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
40-28. Fort Thomas has outscored the Wildcats 10-5. That first minute was just Joseph City working it around the perimeter, trying to occupy clock. And now, with the lead trimmed to 12, might have to get back to running some offense as they're in the backcourt, nearly stolen away, but a long pass up front in front of the Wildcat bench. Audrey Neal tries to kick it back out, but it's nearly stolen away. Now she's able to get it back. She puts it off the heel, but is fouled.
Second team foul whistled on the Apaches, and it's going to send Audrey Neal to the free throw line.
As I think that was number 4 on Kennedy Bryce. Ooh, it was. I don't know if she's been on the floor for 5 minutes. She picked up 2 in the first 2 minutes and then came back out and immediately got whistled for her third. She didn't start the third quarter. She came in during that last timeout as the first free throw is good and just picked up another one. So she might have only lasted 3 minutes thus far in her state championship game. And now I'm back to the bench with 4 personals. Second from Audrey Neal is good. She has 11. And that'll stop play with 3:52 to go. Third quarter, 42-28. Joseph City with the lead. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 and iTalk1067.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
We have President's Day pricing all month long here at Horn Auto Center. And great deals like this Chevy Silverado with up to $10,850 off and 2.4% APR. Or this Chevy Colorado. All 2024 Colorados have up to $5,100 off and 1.9% APR on approved credit. So come on down to Horn Auto Center, the Chevy GMC Cadillac store that saves you more.
Northland Pioneer College is cheering for you on and off the field. Secure a win by enrolling in college courses at NPC. Earn college credits in high school, learn a new skill or trade. Complete classes that will transfer to any Arizona university. NPC has 3 new bachelor's degree programs and over 100 associate degrees, certificates, and areas of study to choose from. The playing field for your future is wide open. Take a shot and score big by enrolling in classes at NPC. Northland Pioneer College. Your journey starts here.
3:52 to go, third quarter, 42-28. 3 Comfort Fit Dentures 3-pointers from the Fort Thomas Apaches took what was a 19-point lead and trimmed it to 12. Audrey Neal's 3 of 4 from the free throw line to get it back out to 14 is now again extending the zone well outside the arc. It was disruptive to a great degree in the first half, but not so much here in the third quarter as Hawkins this time is going to get, she is going to be whistled for traveling. I thought that time it looked like she was contacted prior, but that's the second time it looked like she was nearly fouled, instead whistled for a turnover. Side to side, going back and forth, Kinlachini and Neal. Settles on April Neal near her bench, and then back near the center circle with Audrey. Being crowded there by Hawkins. Forces the handoff to Jesmer again along the midcourt line with the 14-point lead. Again, looking like they want to be conservative there. And now a traveling violation, yes. Jamie Johnson got in the passing lane and forced a moment of indecision there. Samantha Jesmer commits the turnover. 3:13 to go. Hawkins going to come out of the backcourt with Benali. The zone extended between the rings. Started off to the right, fake a pass to the interior, and now skip it to the left. Zone is there in rotation as Johnson loses that one. Bounced off of one of the Wildcats' heels, and the loose ball picked up by Jesmer. Kinlicini nearly over and back, but she never got all the way over, so the fans are not right to be furious. As it's had on the outside, back and forth, Kinlicini and April Neal, I beg your pardon, is now a timeout taken by Joseph City, as that was looking awfully disjointed from the start. They forced a turnover and then forced to take another timeout, as the Wildcats will have 2 remaining with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third quarter. It's Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
42-28, Joseph City uses a timeout and now having a hard time figuring how to get it in, as will be taken outside by Audrey Neal. Jesmer, Gabrielle spinning away from Hawkins as she's being forced back to midcourt, picks up the dribble. 5 seconds being counted away, but she's able to save it out to Samantha. Along the stripe, she comes to Kinlicini, uses the screen to go from the left to the right, gets inside the arc where she is knocked down. Be the 3rd team foul on Fort Thomas. Lorenzo picks up number 1. There were 5 quick fouls called on the Apaches in the first quarter, as that one inbounded and then not coming down with it. Audrey Neal couldn't get the finish, instead rebounded by Benali. I'll finish that thought in a moment. As Lorenzo accelerates to the top of the key, gets inside the foul line, kick it out. Hawkins wide open, 3 is on the way, and it rattles in. A Comfort Fit Dentures 3 from Rayleigh Hawkins, and it gets the lead down to 11. Kinlicini gets this one now to a breaking Neal. Starts fanning outside to the left of the lane. Now left alone after reaching there was Hawkins, leaving Audrey Neal wide open from about 15 out. She knocks it down to get the lead back up to 13, 44-31. Hawkins, who just knocked it down from 3, going back and forth with Lorenzo. Toward the top of the zone, and now an extra pass to the corner. 3 is on the way. A Comfort Fit Dentures 3 put down this time by Chapman, and the lead is 10. Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Joseph City had a 19-point lead as Kinlicini gets toward the right block, forces a pass along the interior, and a jump ball will give it back to Fort Thomas. The turnovers right now breaking somewhat evenly, but the Apaches picking them up in a little bit bigger moments of the ball game. Back off the bench now, Amber Neal, who's held scoreless thus far in the third quarter, and Rayleigh Fish just checked back in. Hawkins steps away for the Apaches as their fans are right now starting to ride this momentum. Little 1-2-2 in the back court as they push this one over the stripe with Cody. Double teamed now as a bumping foul will be whistled on one of the Neals. Or no, it'll be Fish. Minute and 11 seconds to play here in the third quarter, and Fort Thomas has found the stroke from deep. 5 3-pointers to get the lead down to 10. Now here's one from really deep, but Benali can't get it to connect. Fish has the rebound tipped to her, and now she's reached in upon and fouled. 4th team foul on Fort Thomas. Benali with the heat check there. Do you like that shot? That seemed ambitious. As Chapman steps away. Now into the middle of the defense. Racing up the center of the floor, Neal goes to the left block. Fish with the catch, can't get the finish. Rebounds tipped by Neal, and eventually loose ball picked up by Amber Neal. Circle it back out, get it to Jesper. 1 bounce for rhythm. 3 ball is up and down. Gabrielle Jesper with a Comfort Fit Dentures 3 to get the lead back out to 13 under a minute to go in the third. Benali, who just tried one from really deep, goes to the short corner jumper. Instead, it's an air ball. Rebound is loose, and it looks like they're going to get Jesmer, Samantha Jesmer. That is her fourth. That is confirmed her fourth. And just the third team foul. So Fort Thomas will inbound with 35 seconds. Taking a look initially at Hawkins. Instead, it's outside Lorenzo. To the foul line there, all alone on the baseline. Johnson's got the catch and finish.
Don't strike Fort Thomas out of this thing yet. We still got a whole lot of basketball.
Might have been blocked. And the loose ball still being fought for. Nearly taken away by Fish. She'll be whistled for the big personal. There is a huge Fort Thomas crowd here, and they're feeling it. Down 11 with 15 seconds to go. Fish just committed her third personal. It's only the fourth team foul. So the Apaches will inbound with 15 seconds to try to find a shot. Hawkins in the backcourt goes back to Benali and now to the far sideline, Lorenzo. Johnson thought she had a pass to a cutting Cody. Instead, it's deflected and stolen away. Joseph City with 3 seconds as Neal takes a look. She's going to try from 35 and was fouled. That should be 3 free throws.
Yeah, everybody's going to go to the bench except for Neal. She's going to get 3 before this quarter ends.
Did they show 3? Wait a minute. Yes, they're saying it's in the act of shooting. She's shooting 3 free throws. No time on the clock. You have to ask whether it was going to be a 3-point shot. It would have been the 15th foul. So she was going to get at least 2 regardless, as her first one is up and good. I don't know why the light's still on. That seems as if that's an unfair disadvantage. But
yeah, that's very unusual.
The backboard light went off at the end of the quarter and is still on. Nobody but me thinks it's weird though. So yeah, as she makes 2 of 3. Those are her first 2 points in the third quarter.
I'm looking across and I'm looking at the state commissioner, and the state commissioner has noted and was pointing at the scoreboard. So there is some discussion, but I'm not sure why that board was still lit. That's interesting.
It only hurt her once. 2 of 3 go down. Amber Neal has 20. Her team's lead now 49-36 going into the final period. It's the 1A Girls State Championship, and the Apaches' hot shooting has made it interesting here on Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball. iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there, and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
Final period of play. Ready to tip off the fourth quarter in the 1A Girls Championship matchup between Joseph City and Fort Thomas. When it's time to tip off your college education, do it at your hometown college with the lowest tuition in the state. Now offering bachelor's degree programs in education and business. It was a 19-point lead in the early going of the third quarter for Joseph City. Fort Thomas was able to make it a 10-point game by using some hot shooting. And now, just as had happened at the start of the half, Joseph City working it around the perimeter, gambling on a pass. Hawkins allows Jesmer to go on the run, but her teardrop is not going to fall. Rebounds long and taken by Johnson as she's on the attack. Tries to go with the Euro, but puts it up too strong. Rebounds tipped and eventually taken by Audrey Neal. Nice idea there by Jamie Johnson. I think they just got a little too congested. As it's on the outside, Jesmer moved away from the key by 2 defenders. Now goes up top to Neal, who fires a pass inside. It's caught and completed there by Audrey Neal. She has 15. 7 of them coming here in the second half. Lead back out to 15 as there's a big bump along the baseline, letting them play through as Cody's trying to find some way to get it off the end line. And I think eventually a foul is going to be called. That'll go against April Neal. That's only her first. I started saying in the third quarter that the Apache fans were a little bit grumpy as their knuckleball three-pointer is not going to fall. But since then, the foul count's been very, very even, and they've allowed both sides to really go after each other. As they should here in a championship game. It's a skip pass, had by Jesmer, outside the left block, trying to back down is another Jesmer. Her shot is not good, but there's the offensive rebound and put back from Amber Neal. She has 22. Now it's on the outside. Whoa. What did I just say? They're letting them play?
Yeah. and they are. And I've watched the officials throughout this game, and they are. They're going after the felony fouls. Yeah. They're not going after the misdemeanors.
Hawkins and one of the Wildcats just had a violent collision of it. They were both putting equal force into it. As there, Hawkins dribbles away from a trap, goes inside. Johnson's at the rim. Jamie Johnson with 7. 53-38, though, her team trails side to side in the backcourt. Now Jesmer has it over the stripe. Dribbles into a double team, now picks it up, goes to the far sideline in front of the Wildcat bench. Amber Neal's the leading scorer, thinks about it, winds up putting up a long 2. Rebounds cleared by Cody. Here come the Apaches down 15. Time becoming a factor. Johnson again with the Euro off the square, too strong. Benali with the offensive rebound, but has her shot blocked. And then as she's trying to break free, Amber Neal is reached in upon and fouled. That one on Cody, that's her third. Wildcats lead 15. A bucket here will go an awfully long way toward the deep freeze. As Cody coming into the backcourt. Jesmer finds a streaking Audrey Neal. She gets inside the arc. Back outside April Neal, and now back to the left of the lane where Jesper's going to try another 3-ball. This one's short. Amber Neal tips the rebound momentarily to Hawkins, who's trying to dive on it. Hawkins, I should say, was trying to take it away from Mackenzie Jesper. Hawkins is leaving it all out. She's only scored 4 points. She was in and out an awful lot in the first quarter, but here in the fourth quarter, she's been diving after everything. As Amber Neal goes inside and out. Thought about a 3 there with April Neal, and now a pushing foul is going to be called on one of the Apaches.
Number 15, Lady Hawkins.
It's going to be Hawkins' third. But perhaps more importantly, second team foul on Fort Thomas. 5:40 to go. Time continuing to be just as big an opponent as the Joseph City Wildcats. Going to inbound with Jesmer. Takes a look at Mackenzie Jesmer before Gabrielle goes to Neal, skip it to the near side. April Neal tries to get to the foul line, forced back out. Mackenzie Jesmer now happy to use some clock as she goes to Amber Neal, curls around a screen, then loses the basketball on the way in, stolen away, taken by Lorenzo. Benali now already at the arc as she now splits through 2 defenders, flips up a rebound that's not good, and there's Jesmer with a big board in front of a couple of different Fort Thomas players.
Would have been a great play if she'd been able to finish that shot and had it go down.
Probably should have just come to a stop.
Yeah.
She tried to do all of that on the run. Now 5 minutes to go, and her team's still down 15. Neal side to side with Benali in front of her. Tries to send this one back out to Jesmer, but filling the passing lane. Cody takes it away, one-on-one in transition. A nice decision there by Amber Neal
to deliver a foul that prevents Cody from getting the shot up and in. And I think that's just her first. Second team foul, though, on Joseph City. And Cody, who went down to the base of the hoop, looked like she wore that one. Right now trying to gather herself before her free throws with the team trailing 53-38. 4:51 to play in this championship matchup as she's got the first up and good. All right, Kennedy Bryce is going to give it one more go. She has not been able to play much with 4 quick personals. And she's going to replace Cody if she's able to convert this second free throw. And she puts it up short, but I think a lane violation is going to allow for Bryce to check back in.
A lane violation on the free throw.
So Bryce has lasted 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I had estimated it was 5 minutes, and I was being very generous. As she now in the interior, a little bit late, getting in front of a cutting Neal. And if that's on Bryce, she's fouled out. Bucket counts. It will not be on Bryce. Audrey Neal with the finish, as she now has 17 and is going to the free throw line to try to make it a 17-point game, and does so. 4:42 left. And Fort Thomas trying to hurry. Hawkins inside, goes crashing down, and an offensive foul is called.
The fans did not like that call. However, I thought that call was spot on. I thought she had great legal guarding position, and she took the charge.
Was that 5 on Hawkins? I thought it was her 4th, but 4:37 to go, and she is vacated. Replaced by Cody, who had just checked out. Jesmer goes up the middle of the floor, gets that to Audrey Neal, who's again on the attack off the square. Lead back out to 19. This match is the largest advantage for Joseph City, and with 4:20 to go, it's starting to feel as if the 1A championship has been decided. Johnson trying to go side to side with Benali. She's going to try another incredibly deep 3. Long rebound pulled down by Mackenzie Jesmer. 4 minutes to go, and here come the Wildcats looking for their largest advantage. Oh, but it's poked away from behind. Taken away from Gabrielle Jesmer. Lorenzo now goes to the left side. Benali run right after one of the Wildcats. Woo.
Woo. Again, I'm not quite sure why that one was called. It was not called. That obviously looked like it charged again. But
if the last one was questionable, then they have evened up. As here, Jesmer takes it at the left wing, crosses over to the right side. Now 10-footer is up off the back rim. Rebounds tipped, taken by Benali. Johnson's already fanning out. She's going right after the rim, puts it up too strong, but a rebound had by Cody as she scores it. As down goes one of the Neals. And a timeout taken by Fort Thomas as they're able to get a couple of buckets to trim the deficit to 15, but only 3 minutes and 21 seconds remain as this is Sholo Fort's presentation of the 1A Girls Championship on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN. Want to go skiing or snowboarding? Visit our friendly Honda Outdoor Sports. We offer skis, snowboards, and helmet rentals, custom footbeds, ski and snowboard repairs, as well as retail shopping for your snow gear, goggles, beanies, snow tubing, and even ice fishing supplies. We have all you need to prepare you for the outdoors. We welcome you to Honda Outdoor Sports, located 1 mile west of the casino.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
3:21 to go. 1A state championship on the line. Joseph City exchanged leads with Fort Thomas in the early going, but generally has been in control throughout. But with just 3 minutes and 21 seconds left, we've seen the Apaches get hot from the outside, as had happened in the third quarter. Is there enough time?
3 minutes, that's still a lot of time.
Run the baseline with Jesmer. Get it inbounded to Amber Neal, who's leading all scorers with 22. It's knocked away on the outside, and it's out of bounds off of one of the Wildcats' legs. So 3:14 to go. The Apaches probably got to work fast. Lorenzo approaches the top of the zone defense that has been employed throughout. Crosses over with Johnson as she gets into the interior. Back outside. Open three is on the way. It's up and down. Benali's got another. Comfort Contentious 3. Lead trimmed to 12. Short hop taken by April Neal. She's at the rim and scores it from the left side. April Neal with 7. Her team's lead is 14. 2:45 to go. Benali thought about launching another one. Instead, she goes up top where Johnson's three-pointer is going to get the bottom of the backboard. The rebound is out of bounds. Fort Thomas fans are frustrated. It's going to be Joseph City basketball. As Jesmer dribbles into a double team on the near sideline, throws it behind Audrey Neal, but she's able to get that one. And now I think we got Bryce just fouled out. She started boxing out Audrey Neal before she had finished her shot. I don't think you can do that. Because that's number 5. I don't know. I thought that was the right call, but you helped me out.
You know, being officiating for 31 years, we see a lot differently down here on the court than we do up top. And they just don't see the whole, they just don't see the entire thing.
The ref has been identified unfairly as horrible as their rebound is had by Amber Neal. And now a reach and foul on Amber Neal after she lost it. I mean, just to finish the thought, Bryce had turned around and started boxing out before the shot had been released. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it becomes a push.
Yeah. Well, the great Vince Scully would say that they're watching the game with their hearts. And they are very passionate, these Apache fans.
Oh, absolutely.
2:23 left. They're down 14. They've had some hot shooting, though. It's been streaky. As they pass out of a trap, Benali at the top of the key goes to a cutting Chapman, who puts it up no good, but she's fouled and will go to the free throw line. That's her 5th. So Kinlachini will come out as the clock is stopped at 2:10, and Chapman will shoot 2. Very high arcing shot. We thought Hawkins put a lot of air under her shot. That one way up there. She hits the first. Gets the deficit down to 13, and now, wait a minute, another lane violation. I think there's just too much air under that foul shot. I mean, credit again Fort Thomas. It understands the gravity of that. If it was a missed free throw, they need to try to get to the offensive glass as the pass is deflected out of bounds in the backcourt. But when you're shooting up a foul shot, it seems like it's got 21, 22 feet between it and the ground. Like, that's just a lot of time to make a mistake. As the Wildcats now get it over the time stripe. Jesmer nearly loses it, but is able to bounce it to the left block, and there, going high off the glass is Kinlachini. 62-47, under 2 minutes to go, and the Wildcats are feeling it. Benali goes to Chapman, left angle to the left block, and a nice decision there by Jesmer to make sure she only allows her the 2.
Chapman with the deuce. 1:40 left, and it's nearly again deflected out of bounds. We'll stay with Joseph City. 62-49, the Wildcats, 1:38 away. Passes over to the near side. Oh, Neal nearly carried it and traveling. Joseph City will take a timeout with 1:34 left. Fort Thomas has only committed 5 turnovers over the first 3, in the third quarter. Joseph City right now struggling with the turnover bug, but leading 62-49. It's Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
We have President's Day pricing all month long here at Horn Auto Center. And great deals like this Chevy Silverado with up to $10,850 off and 2.4% APR. Or this Chevy Colorado. All 2024 Colorados have up to $5,100 off and 1.9% APR on approved credit. So come on down to Horn Auto Center, the Chevy GMC Cadillac store that saves you more.
Minute and 34 seconds left. Joseph City is pounding at the door. Going to be back on the defensive side after Fort Thomas forced a turnover. Joseph City used one of its final 2 timeouts as now Benali steps to the left, feeds Lorenzo. 3 is on the way. Back rim, no good. Rebound fought for, taken by Cody as she starts spinning toward the baseline. Back outside Benali. 3 is on the way. Back rim, no good. Rebound fought for, taken by Lorenzo, and now stolen away by Amber Neal. She's leading all scorers with 22 points. Had 6 first half steals. And that one might have just made her team state champion. Fifth team foul on Fort Thomas. And Amber Neal with 18 big first half points. Didn't play much of the third quarter. Seemed as if maybe trying to save the starters for the closeout here as she hits the first free throw. Now 23 points. And second one's also good. Again, in the driver's seat for the Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint player of the game, though Audrey Neal made it interesting with a scoring barrage in the third quarter. Move it out, Lorenzo. 3 on the way from the wing. It's up and down. And Comfort Fit Dentures 3 with 63 seconds left. Gets the lead down to 12. It's just a matter of whether there's enough time. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk106.7.com.
Northland Pioneer College is cheering for you on and off the field. Secure a win by enrolling in college courses at NPC. Earn college credits in high school, learn a new skill or trade. Complete classes that will transfer to any Arizona university. NPC has 3 new bachelor's degree programs and over 100 associate degrees, certificates, and areas of study to choose from. The playing field for your future is wide open. Take a shot and score big by enrolling in classes at NPC. Northland Pioneer College. Your journey starts here.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We've recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
Minute and 3 seconds left. Joseph City is in the bonus. Fort Thomas going to go hard for a steal here and then have to commit a foul if it doesn't come up with it. Oh.
Now whipping a pass and had by Neal. Fort Thomas not yet applying the foul as Jesmer has a ball fake to get into the front court, going all the way to the middle of the floor. Might have got away with a double dribble there as it skipped instead off to Neal. Amber Neal hanging on to it. The Apaches still not fouling. Now it's out of bounds. It's Fort Thomas basketball, but they just let 18 seconds come off the clock. It's a 4-possession game, and Joseph City thinks that it's academic at this point. Is hopping out for the first time Casey Palmer, Tori Beatty. The Wildcat fans don't know what they're supposed to be cheering. They just took out the two leading scorers in Amber and Audrey Neal. They've combined for more than 40 points. And the Wildcat fans thought, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Is back over to the far side, and a three-pointer from Chapman's no good, and the rebound is out of bounds and will stick with Fort Thomas, but it looks like both sides at this point have conceded.
Well, it looks like Coach Bushman kind of put everybody left on the bench and give them a few seconds of state play time.
Well, they get to say it. I'll tell you how many times I played for a state championship. 0. So these young ladies got something on me. 33 seconds left. As it's inbounded to Johnson. She goes back to Benali. 30 seconds left as she goes crashing into some players. Back over to Chapman, who's going to try a mid-range jumper that's not good. Stripped away from a rebound. Jackie Richards couldn't gather it in, but gives it back to Fort Thomas. And the Apaches will use their final timeout, trailing 64-52 with 22 seconds left. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 and iTalk1067.com.
Want the best deal on your new car, truck, van, or SUV? Go to Sholo Ford. Sholo Ford has the best deals. Not only does Sholo Ford sell the #1 truck in America, Guy Hatch guarantees you won't find a better deal on that truck anywhere else. Sholo Ford sells the best at the best price. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at SholoFord.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
20 seconds remaining as their three-pointer is elevated and up and good. Leyland Wesley knocks down a Comfort Fit Dentures 3. Gets the lead down to 9. Joe City having a hard time getting out of the backcourt. Just needs to advance it. The ball's free, but there's only 2 seconds left. 1 second, and Joseph City is your 1A girls basketball champion here in 2025. Fans now on their feet. It's a very, very measured response. But the Joseph City Wildcats are taking home the hardware. Amber Neal, Audrey Neal, now giving their coach a hug as all of the fields are starting to come out. Joseph City wins it 64-55. We'll start wrapping it up after this. It's Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 and iTalk1067.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Final score here in the 1A Girls Championship. Joseph City, winner 64-55. As we take a look at the Horn Auto Center drive of the game. Horn Auto Center is the Chevy, Cadillac, and GMC store that saves you more. I think you can look at this from a couple different perspectives. In the first quarter, over the first 5 minutes or so, it was very, very close. But starts opening up toward the end, particularly when Amber Neal starts finding the bucket. She's going to finish with, you can either look at the end of the first quarter or the second quarter in its entirety when she had 10 of her 18 points at that point, 10 of her 25 total in the second quarter, and giving her team a big lead at the half when they went into the locker room leading 35-18. The only thing that we can say at that point is Fort Thomas going to start knocking down the three ball in a little bit more higher volume. And they did, but between Amber Neal and then Audrey Neal would be another perspective to take, as she was able to get to the bucket and free throw line quite a bit in the third quarter, making her case to put some fingerprints on the Horn Auto Center drive of the game, the Chevy, Cadillac, and GMC store that saves you more. But taking a 17-point lead into the locker room in a championship game, I think that you kind of got to give the nod to what Joseph City did in the second quarter as far as gaining that separation.
And I agree. They came out and they were extremely solid. They were out here to do one thing, and that was to take the trophy home. And they absolutely ran the score up a little bit in that second quarter. And Fort Thomas was just going to have a tough time digging out of that hole.
So that is the Horn Auto Center drive of the game, the Chevy, Cadillac, and GMC store that saves you more. I had suspected that rebounding would be one of the biggest factors. As we take a look at the Deemer's Glass woman of the game. If you need glass for your home or business, Deemer's Glass at Lakeside is hands down the best place to call when you need quality glass at affordable prices. Deemer's Glass, call 1-888-GLASSMAN. But it's again going to be all of these Neals who are going to get to the glass. They're forcing an awful lot of turnovers, which turned out to be a much bigger factor. But they were far more successful getting to the glass on both sides of the floor. So it's just, again, a little bit of a triple threat from Amber Neal, Audrey Neal, and April Neal. As I can tell you, after 3 quarters, Amber Neal wound up leading the way with 6, as Kaylee Benali had 6 of her own after 3 quarters. But it's just too many Neals, and all of them attacking the glass is going to be the biggest factor as far as that goes. The Deemer's Glass woman of the game. If you need glass for your home or business, Deemer's Glass in Lakeside is hands down the best place to call. We need quality glass at affordable prices. Deemer's Glass, 1-888-GLASSMAN. Is there any question now about the Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint player of the game?
Nope.
Amber Neal?
I have to go with that.
25 points. Again, at the end of the third quarter, she had 6 rebounds. 4 of them were offensive. 6 steals. At least 1 more came in the fourth quarter. And when her team was watching the lead start to dwindle because of the hot shooting Apaches, I don't think she had any turnovers in the second half.
No.
So that might be the biggest factor of them all. Had all the points in the first half and so much of the poise in the second, as she is the Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tin player of the game. Joseph City Wildcats, 1A state champions. As they're taking some photos right now. It's interesting watching their response to winning it all. Quite a few more tears than I was expecting. But they cut down the net right now as the net has been brought down to their level. 64-55, they win it. We're going to have one more for you today as Snowflake is taking on, who do they got? Oh, well, it's going to be at 6 o'clock. My notes are under the table. 6 o'clock start. The Lobos are back in action. And so we will have it for you on iTalk 106.7 and iTalk1067.com. Last call here at Veterans Memorial Coliseum for your state champion Joseph City Wildcats, 64-55. They knock out Fort Thomas, as we will be back with you at 6. Until then.
This has been Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 KNKI Pinetop and iTalk1067.com. Brought to you in part by Northland Pioneer College, Ace Hardware of the White Mountains, Deemer's Glass, Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint, Summit Healthcare Regional Medical Center, Horn Auto Center, Honda Ski and Outdoor Sports, and Comfort Fit Dentures. This broadcast has been a copyrighted production of iTalk 106.7 and Country Mountain Airwaves, a Kopaniki communication station. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of this broadcast without the express written consent of iTalk 106.7 or Country Mountain Airwaves is strictly prohibited. For more information on this game and other games around the region, go to iTalk1067.com.